reliving lane. Thank you.
Harambe is 28. Tornado meet. Let's go. Jumbo, everyone. My name is Jessica. I will be starting out here today. Thanks for taking before we enter the reserve. I do need everyone to remain fully seated at all times, keeping their hands, arms, feet, and legs fully inside the safari vehicle. Our first stop today is going to be the Little Aturi Forest, and the Little Aturi Forest is home to the more shy animals on the reserve. They're going to use their natural camouflage to blend in with their surroundings and hide from predators. So they might be just a little bit harder to find, but I will do my best to point out all the ones that I can find for you out there today. Over on the left-hand side are going to be two different types of antelope. The more tannish brown are going to be the greater kudu. The more orange brown are going to be called the bongo. Now the greater kudu over there are female. I can tell that because they do not have any horns on top of their heads. The greater kudu will have horns running up to about 6 feet in length. Over on the right-hand side on the hill there is an okapi. And then over on the top of the left-hand side is going to be some saddle-billed storks. Now the bongo and the more orangish brown of the antelope we saw back there. Both male and female bongos will have horns on top of their heads. They're going to lean them against their backs to move through the heavy underbrush of the forest, and males will get a bit darker on the front of their necks and on the front of their legs as they reach maturity age. The okapi we saw back there may look like it was wearing zebra pants. It's not going to be related to the zebra at all. They are just going to be related to the giraffe, the only known relative of the giraffe, which you know because of their similar skeletal structure and also because of their long prehensile tongue. Over on the left-hand side, there is a black rhino. Black rhinos are going to have a triangle-shaped prehensile upper lip, which they're going to use to grab onto grasses and hay. They're about 3,000 pounds when fully grown and are mainly solitary as they are very, very territorial animals. So they like their own space, they're going to stick in it. We saw those saddle-billed storks earlier. They'll stand about 5 feet tall, have a wingspan of around 9 feet wide, and are also mainly solitary, but they will mate and they will mate for life. So that was a mated pair that we saw back there. And they're going to communicate to each other by rattling their bills back and forth. Now we are making our way on out of the Little Aturi Forest here, and our next stop will be the Safi River. Your way down into the Safi River here. Looks like there are quite a few pink-backed pelicans over on their right-hand side. Pink-backed pelicans are going to get their name from the pink color on their back. Some will get a bit darker during mating season. They're also going to be colonial nesters, which means they will nest in pairs. Anywhere from 20 to 500 of those pairs, which is going to be quite a lot of those pelicans. As you move a bit further into the Safi River here, I want you to look down in the water, see if you can see any shadowy shapes or any sort of air bubbles, as both of those are going to be great indicators of Nile hippos. Nile hippos can hold their breath for up to around 8 minutes at a time and are more than capable of swimming, but oftentimes instead will choose to walk or run along the bottom of the river to get to where they need to go. Babies are born about 85 pounds, and adults getting anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 pounds when fully grown. And it looks like there was at least one down there in the water that I caught a quick glimpse of. Kind of hiding down there on the left. That's me. Also down on the left, there are quite a few Nile crocodiles. Nile crocodiles are going to be the largest of the crocodilian species over in Africa, getting up to about 16 feet in length from the tip of the nose to the tip of bone-crushing strength. While they are bone-crushing, though, they can also be quite nurturing, as mother and father Nile crocodiles are going to help their young hatch by rolling around their eggs in their mouth to soften those eggshells with their saliva. Now we are making our way out of the Safi River here. We're going to be heading on over to the savannah. And the savannah is going to be one of the harshest ecosystems in the world. With heavy rainfall leading to flash floods, to no rain at all, which can lead to prolonged droughts. There are going to be millions of migratory animals that will visit the savannah each year that will need to learn how to adapt to those harsh conditions. One of the ways they can do that is the baobab tree coming up on our right-hand side. The baobab tree over there can remain leafless for up to 9 whole months of the year, and it'll store all that water in its very large trunk. They will do that in case there is a drought, not for themselves though, but for the animals out there, as they will rip off pieces of its bark, which has a spongy-like texture inside, and they can then suck or squeeze the water out of to drink. That's definitely going to be very, very helpful for all of those animals out there, especially when there's been no rain for a few weeks to even a few months, and those watering holes will start to dry up. Now, it does look like there is quite a bit of movement up ahead here on the savannah, which is definitely very exciting. So keep your eyes open for any movement that we might see as we make our way down here today. Over on the left-hand side there, looks like there are two African painted dogs laying down in between the two trees there on the left. African painted dogs are one of the most successful pack hunters in the world, and each of them will have a unique design on their coat patterns. None of those coats are going to be the same, even though they might look quite similar. They're also going to have a wide range of vocal communication noises, some of which might even sound like high-pitched chirping noises. Up ahead on the left-hand side, looks like there are a few of the Hartmann's mountain zebra. The Hartmann's mountain zebra are going to be the smallest of the zebra species over in Africa, and each of their stripe patterns will be completely unique. So just like those African painted dogs will have unique patterns, the zebras will have unique stripes. Now they are actually going to use those stripes to help identify each other. They will memorize those stripe patterns, make sure to tell each other apart. They are also going to be very helpful for us when we are tracking those migratory groups and patterns of those animals over in Africa. We will use those stripe patterns as well. And then a group of them will be called a dazzle. Over on the left-hand side are a few springbok. These springbok are going to be a type of antelope, one of the smallest, standing at about 2 to 3 feet tall, almost Norse colored with their tan, brown, and white stripes. Those springbok are going to get their name from the way they spring up in the air, about 6 feet high. They can also leap about 13 feet forward. And they have a defense mechanism called pronking, P-R-O-N-K-I-N-G, where they will jump up and down to that 6-foot height repeatedly to deter predators from approaching them. Around the corner here on the left-hand side, it looks like there are quite a few Maasai giraffe. Maasai giraffe are going to be the tallest land animal, standing at about 16 to 20 feet tall. The Maasai giraffe, like the relative the okapi we saw earlier, are going to have those very long prehensile tongues, which they are going to use to grab onto their food in a method called browsing. Their tongue is going to be a dark purple, almost a blackish color, so they do not get sunburnt throughout the day. Friends, let's make sure we're not calling out to these animals. Alright, we want to make sure we're being respectful of them in their home. We want to make sure we're not making any noises at them, yelling at them. We want to make sure that we feel very comfortable in their environment. Over on the right-hand side there are a few wildebeest. Wildebeest are going to be one of the largest migratory animals. They'll migrate in a group of up to 1.5 million and travel around 500 to 1,000 miles in a year. Friends, let's make sure we're not passing our children back and forth as well. They do need to remain fully seated in one spot for the entire safari.
There's a giraffe in our way. We're not able to drive because we didn't want to hit it. Look at that.
6 feet tall and can stand and walk around an hour after birth. A group of them while standing still is going to be called a tower, and a group of them on the move is going to be called a journey. Over there in that red clay, and it looks like I found the elephants that might have made those tusk marks. Now African elephants will they'll break off chunks of it. It's got lots of great minerals and nutrients in there for them to eat, almost like a multivitamin that we might take. This is going to be a family group, as there is a younger elephant in that group. Family groups are composed of the older females, usually run by the oldest female, the matriarch, that will all work together to take care of the younger elephants. Now the matriarch is not always the oldest in the group, but it will be the one with the most experience. She's the one that knows where to find all the food and water to make sure that the younger ones in the group get all the food and nutrients that they need. African elephants are going to be the largest land animal. They'll get up to about 14,000 pounds when fully grown. And on hotter days, you'll even see them flapping their large ears back and forth to cool themselves down up to around 15 degrees. They're going to use their trunks, grab onto their food and water, bring it up to their mouths to eat or drink. They're also going to spray mud or water onto their backs to cool themselves in the skin throughout the day. Side here are going to be quite a few of the greater flamingo. Greater flamingo are called such because they are the largest species of flamingo. They're also going to be the lightest pink. They're going to get their light pink color from the brine shrimp that they eat, which has beta carotene in it. And a group of them will be called a flamboyance. A little bit of a different area of the savanna here, which usually means we're going to be seeing some different types of animals. Over on the left-hand side, it looks like there are a few white rhinos laying down there. Get their name from the mispronunciation of the Afrikaans word "weit," which means wide, as a descriptor of their wide mouths. They're going to use their wide mouths to graze on hay and grass. I can get anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000. Over on the right are a few ostrich. Left-hand side, it looks like there is a cheetah up on top of the hill there. Cheetahs are the fastest land animal, reaching speeds up to about 60 miles an hour, which they can do in just 3 seconds. They're going to use their tails to help balance while moving at those very fast speeds. And they also have little black lines coming down from underneath their eyes to absorb sunlight and reduce glare. Around the corner on the left-hand side is going to be an island formation of rocks called a copy. Oftentimes up on copies we might see larger predators, so keep your eyes open for any large predators that might be out on that copy today. Around the corner, we're going to be seeing those ostrich again. The ostrich are going to be the largest bird. They're also going to be completely flightless, so their large wings cannot help them get off the ground. Instead, they will help them steer while moving at speeds of up to around 43 miles an hour, covering about 10 to 16 feet per stride while moving at those very fast speeds. Over on the left-hand side are a few warthog burrows. Warthogs are going to be the largest burrowing animal over in Africa. More than capable of making their own burrows. Sometimes they might reduce, reuse, recycle some, and they will back up into those burrows with their razor-sharp tusks pointing outwards as a defense mechanism. And again, those ostrich there on the right. And down on the right-hand side, looks like there might even be a glimpse of a few ostrich eggs laying down there in the grass. Ostrich eggs are about 3 pounds each in weight and can withstand the weight of the average needing to support the full weight of that ostrich. Now we are making our way out of the savannah here. We're going to be heading on into Magadi Glen. And Magadi Glen is home of our wardens post. Now what our wardens do throughout the day is make sure that all of our animals are happy and healthy. Make sure everyone's doing well. They are a very vital part to helping this reserve run smoothly. We definitely could not do what we do here at the Harambe Wildlife Reserve without the help of our wardens. It looks like our wardens might have a few helpers of their own. They're going to be called the Nigerian dwarf goats. Nigerian dwarf goats are social, playful animals. They'll jump and climb on pretty much anything that they can. They're also very useful. They'll help clear unwanted bushes and weeds from farmland. They provide a very sweet milk that's going to be high in nutrients that our wardens can drink as milk or turn into butter or cheese. Now we are making our way out of Magadi Glen here and away from the Nigerian dwarf goats, which does mean the approaching end of our safari. I would like to talk about conservation for a few moments with you. One of my favorite conservation topics is going to be breathtaking zebras. The Disney Conservation Fund teaming up with researchers and farmers over in Africa to help pregnant zebra. And you may be wondering why pregnant zebra need help. That's because they need to drink a lot of water. Oftentimes to get to that water, they're going to walk through farmland, maybe stepping on a few crops. They do not know what farmland is, they are just trying to get to their water. But the farmers, that is their livelihood, they do not want those animals stepping on their crop. So what they did is they built fences all around their farmlands, completely blocking the zebra from getting the water that they need. Which we do not want. We want these animals to repopulate safely and live very long lives, and of course they cannot do that without access to water. So what the Disney Conservation Fund did is they teamed up with those researchers and those farmers over in Africa to build pathways throughout their farmland. So the zebra are able to get the safe and constant access to water that they need, and those farmers are able to keep all of their farmland intact. And that's going to be a truly amazing example of coexistence between humans and wildlife, and is also one of the biggest goals of the Disney Conservation Fund, which is truly inspiring to me. So if you find any animal out there particularly inspiring, you want to learn do your own research. There's so much you can learn about all these amazing animals, and I definitely want to make sure you learn as much as you can on your journey out there today. If you're a wilderness explorer on board, your code word for today's safari badge is going to be the Simba 1, S-I-M-B-A, just like the line and then the number 1. And you'll find my friend with the orange satchel at the end of our safari today to go ahead and grab that safari badge. Now it will be just a few moments before we head on into the village here today. If you're looking to see some more animals, you can head on over to 2 of our self-guided trails. One is going to be right here in Africa, the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. Self-guided means you will walk along on your own. You can take wheelchairs and strollers as well. They are completely accessible. You'll be able to head on over. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes each. There are plenty of information placards along the way, as well as a few wardens that will help you if you do have any questions that you need answered. Okay, there's one right here in Africa, which is the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. You'll be able to find some of the animals we saw out there in Africa, and some that we definitely did not, including the western lowland gorillas. Then you can also head on over to Asia, to the Maharaja Jungle Trek, where you'll see some tigers, some bats, even a Komodo dragon. Definitely very, very fun. I recommend checking them out if you do have the time today. We are heading into the village here, which does mean it is almost time to say goodbye. I do not like to say goodbye though, for it is much too sad and far too final. So instead what I'll say to you all today is Kwaherini, and Kwaherini does mean to go well. So if you'll go well, go wild, go have a great rest of your day out there at Disney's Animal Kingdom, or wherever your next adventure may take you. On the right, once your hands, arms, feet, and legs, doors are slack.